speech from the Vocal Variety and Competent Communicator Manual. Lisa will share some of her fondest memories as a first-time expectant mother in What to Expect When You're Expecting. Lisa McMillan. I have been with child 3 times in my life, but the first time will always stand out for me. I was woefully unprepared for the experiences that I would have as an expectant mother. Maybe the person I am now could be able to adjust more readily, but the person I was then was not ready. In my experience, being pregnant is like being on exhibit in a hands-on children's museum. People look upon you with fascination and wonder. There's lots of oohs and ahs and baby talk. Something about being pregnant seems to put you in the public realm. People see you as more approachable, more open for all kinds of discussions that are typically personal discussions. I was not prepared for the questions around how much weight I've gained, or how many children I plan to have in my life, or questions like, what kind of dietary cravings are you having, or did you feel like throwing up this morning? It's quite an enigma, the kinds of questions that you receive as a pregnant woman. But worse than all the personal questions is the invasion of personal space. For instance, an incident occurred to me in an elevator. I was standing with a colleague of mine and we were engaged in a discussion, and a woman walks into the elevator. Immediately, she starts approaching me with her hands outstretched. Ooh, it looks like someone has a bun in the oven. Oh, how exciting. Oh, I remember when I was pregnant. Of course, all of my kids are grown and gone now, but it was such a wonderful time for me. Oh, this is my floor. Oh, take care. Have a good day. I stood there in horror, and I turned to my friend. Did she just touch my stomach? And my friend stood there in awe and trepidation and said, yes, but it's okay because people love babies and they can't help it, so you just need to get over it. I was so traumatized by that event, I began to come up with ways to protect my personal space, like putting lotion on my hands incessantly, or checking the time, or looking at my rings, or my favorite, taking the prayer stance like a Baptist minister. Anything just to guard my personal space. The other thing I was not quite prepared for was the fact that everyone is an expert when you're pregnant. And an expert is anyone who's had a baby or who knows someone that's had a baby. Even men gave me advice on being pregnant based on the experiences that their wives had. One particular woman had a special view on my delivery date. So it was 2 days past my due date. I was at home in the evening with my husband. We were preparing for bed, and I began to experience labor pains. So I excitedly told my husband, Ben, I think I'm in labor. We should go to the hospital. So I called the doctor. As luck would have it, she was already there. She encouraged me to come in. So we grabbed my bag, drove the 7 minutes to the hospital, and my husband walked me gingerly down the hallway, and I'm sort of bracing for the next labor pain when I noticed this woman, obviously a part of the housekeeping staff, in the hallway. And she's dusting the walls. She stops, glances at me, and I swear, with a smirk on her face, she said, "Child, you ain't ready to have that baby?" It's like, excuse me? I most certainly am. And with that, I went up the hallway, got settled in my room. The doctor came in. She did what they do. And she said, well, you're not quite where you need to be. We could keep you overnight, but I think you'd be more comfortable resting and waiting at home. And so with that, I made my way back down the long corridor towards the door, very disappointedly. And as I was approaching the threshold, I heard someone call out to me from behind, "I told you you weren't ready to have that baby." So the next day, the next evening, the exact same thing happened. I started having pains, but this time they were much stronger and much more painful. And they just put me in the mood. I was like, "Ben, we have got to get to the hospital quickly." I mean, the pains were coming at a regular pace, and I knew that, okay, this is the real thing. So grab the bag, call the doctor. The 7-minute drive seemed like an hour. By the time I got to the hospital, I could barely move. He got the wheelchair attendant, put me in the wheelchair, and I'm holding on to the side, and they are pushing me slowly down the corridor. And in between contractions, I happen to look up, and who do I see but the same woman? She said, "Now you get ready to have that baby." 2 hours later, I gave birth to an amazing and healthy baby girl. So she was right. But I still stand by my position that we need to get over the fascination that we have with pregnant women, and we should all just mind our own business. It is not a public venture. It is still a very private thing to be pregnant. And I think the man that I ran into later probably wished that he had taken this advice. So I was on the elevator, and maybe the moral of this story is that pregnant women should avoid elevators. But anyway, I was on the elevator, the door opens, and immediately this man makes eye contact with my belly. Breaks into a big grin. "Oh, it looks like it won't be long now. When are you due?" I had the baby 2 days ago. Awkward. Madam Toastmaster. Thank you. I'll go this way.